For the past 25 years, Kanata's InGenius has helped companies the likes of Expedia and LinkedIn to manage activity in their call centers. But just a couple weeks ago, the company was acquired in a nearly $30 million deal. We're going to hear what you need to do to prepare your SaaS business for acquisition this week on Techopia Live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Techopia Live. I'm your host, Craig Lohr, the editor here at Techopia. We are back at Bayview Yards in the accelerator space here where Invest Ottawa startups are working diligently around us. This week we are talking about InGenius Software, one of Canada's longest running companies, but this past month was recently sold to Upland. We're going to talk to the CEO there, Dale Gantous. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Thanks for joining us for this quick
My
talk.
pleasure.
Next to her, though, we've got Susan Richards from our great Techopia sponsor, NumberCrunch. Susan, can you talk a little bit about what NumberCrunch offers to companies?
I'd be pleased to. So NumberCrunch offers an alternative to full-time hires for startups and scaling businesses. So essentially, typically a team of bookkeeper, controller, CFO is something that only companies that are 10 million plus can afford. And so we allow startups and scaling companies to be able to tap into that on an on-demand and subscription-style service model.
Exactly. And SaaS is something that InGenius knows well, so we're going to tap into your expertise on that a little bit later. But as I mentioned off the top, InGenius was recently sold, Dale. I want to learn a little bit about first what the company does. I know a couple of years back there was a bit of a pivot into the SaaS space, learning about what you could offer to customers to enhance their CRMs. Could you tell me a little bit about what InGenius is offering right now?
Sure, absolutely. So InGenius ties company phone systems directly into their CRM. So imagine you have a call center of 1,000 agents, your banks, your cable company, whatever. They're taking calls. Customers are calling in. So with our software, we sit in between the phone system and the CRM so that when a call is delivered to an agent, Salesforce, let's say, opens automatically the record of the person who's calling or the account that they're talking about, and the agent, as they're talking to the customer, they are taking notes and they're all being stored automatically in the CRM. So banks, all kinds of companies, actually, we have every kind of customer you can imagine. Folks like LinkedIn, Expedia, The Gap, Bank of New York Mellon, lots of wonderful enterprise customers in about, I believe it's something like 50 countries around the world.
And in the past couple of years, there's been this really big uptick for InGenius, making the Growth 500 lists.
Right,
growing,
years,
growing your staff now around 70 people, I believe, in the Canada and beyond there. But recently, Upland, a Texas-based company, made a deal to acquire InGenius. Why was it the right time for the sale there?
It was absolutely the right time for a number of reasons. We had accomplished something that I think is rare. We had grown the company to 10 million US ARR, annual revenue run rate, in a completely bootstrapped way. So we had no investors. We've had investors in the past, but for the last probably 8 years, we had no investors. And we worked and found the formula for exactly what it was our customers needed, and innovated to build exactly what they needed, and then just kept building on that success, delivering fantastic customer service, and got the company up to 10 million ARR. We did that as a smallish company in Ottawa with huge enterprise customers all over the States and Europe and around the world. We knew that Rich Lowen was the founder of InGenius, and he and I decided late last year that the company could really grow much larger. We could grow to 20 or 30 million, but it's hard to do that in a bootstrapped environment when there are competitors out there who are raising VC and all that. And so what we wanted, so we decided last fall that we were going to start looking for a partner who could extend our reach, who could get us into the CIOs of all Fortune 500 companies. And we met with a whole bunch of potential investors. Some wanted minority piece, some wanted majority, and some wanted to acquire the company entirely. And when we met with Upland, that seemed like a perfect match for us, because they are focused in SaaS and focused in software solutions, SaaS-based software solutions. And I can keep talking, so maybe you better ask me another question.
Well, it does sound like you did your due diligence on this one, that you searched for a year, and Upland ended up being the right choice.
Yes.
I do want to bring Susan into the conversation here, though, because as a SaaS company, I want to know what you need to do to get your books in order to get ready for an acquisition like this. And okay, let's find the right partner. How do you get the most value? How do you set yourself up for that?
I will just interject that when we knew we wanted to do this, we called Susan and said we knew that we needed help to get us ready, and I had met Susan a couple of times, and we did hire Number Crunch to help us through that. So over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think the key thing is that it's the type of activity that isn't part of your daily operations. So organizations typically have fairly tidy back-end systems, but it's amazing the amount of detail that can trip things up in an acquisition. So even naming conventions across multiple tools sometimes don't talk to each other. So there's a lot of due diligence activity. I think guidance for companies might be to use your year-end process to tidy everything up, to try to get it as close to disclosable to potential buyers. So making sure you have clarity around your spend from a vendor by vendor basis, your revenue assurance, being able to prove that you have signed contracts in place.
Yes.
It's amazing how often we almost have a signature, or we have a signature, but the contract is 3 years old. The employee who signed that deal is no longer with the company. So documents go missing over time, and just having a bit of a refresh on an annual basis can be helpful. But it's those little details, and it's nobody's day job. It's what people end up doing off the side of the desk, unless you bring somebody, an extra set of hands in, who's going to focus in on pulling together the different information.
Because any potential suitor that's looking at your company wants to have that full picture, because they have not been in the day-to-day business for the past 25 plus years for InGenius. They want to be able to know that what they're looking at is the full picture, and that they are getting the value for their money.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Now, Dale, I want to talk a little bit about your personal journey. Again, you've been with this company, leading it over the past 20 years. How does it feel for you to be an entrepreneur who has been with one company for most of your career at this point, and looking towards saying goodbye in the coming months to your baby, to InGenius?
It feels fine. The things that we were looking for, it feels fine because of the acquirer that we went with. The things that we were looking for was someone who could take the company further, who was really interested in taking the company further, and we wanted a partner that didn't have any major overlap with what we did. And we never would have sold to a competitor, for instance, who would have, pulled the company apart.
Pulled it for parts.
And not only that, but with the acquisition of InGenius, Upland had, I think, 6 or 7 different solution suites that they, across the 30 or so companies that they own, that they combine and offer to their customers. With the acquisition of InGenius, they're starting a brand new solution suite, which is contact center solutions. So for us, that gave InGenius the opportunity to be a leader in a whole new set of solutions for a public company to be offering enterprises, and that was super exciting. So overall, I'm very happy that it was the right fit for the company, and I'm getting old, so I'm getting old, and I have kids in high school, so it's a good it's a good transition
Yeah,
for me
good
to have
time to make
more
this.
time, to do other things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to maybe turn to Susan for the last question here. I want to talk about how maybe rare a case like InGenius is. Like Dale was saying, they're bootstrapped completely, but reaching 10 million in ARR. You're now familiar a little bit with InGenius and what it's been doing. Is there something we can take from either Dale's leadership or the company, what it's doing in the SaaS space, that we can share with other companies in Ottawa who are watching this and maybe thinking, how do I achieve this exit, this huge valuation? What can they look towards from the InGenius case here?
Oh, wonderful question, and I certainly don't feel I can do Dale's 26 years justice here. But I think a key thing, like, it is very rare to have a bootstrapped SaaS business. So that is incredible, and I think that in order to pull that off, you really have to have a customer-centric view.
Absolutely.
Like,
You
dedicated
hit the nail on the head.
to pleasing the customer, growing solutions that delight the customer and fill their needs, and that is mandatory to be able to pull it off, and a testament to you doing it.
And one other thing, you have to make a profit.
Right. Yes.
I'll tell you something very, very quick. Years ago, Rich, our founder, and I got to know Mark Cuban.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And this was when he was in streaming media before he sold to Yahoo. And back then we were doing stuff in streaming media. And so we used to meet him at trade shows. And he asked me at one point, so what's your plan? And I was young and didn't know anything. So I said, I think we'll go public, or something ridiculous like that. And he said, no, forget about all that. Just make your customers happy and make a profit. And that's what we followed ever since. And that's what got us here.
It's amazing how much you can overcomplicate such sometimes a simple solution as focus on the people who are paying you and actually make money from them.
Right.
Maybe it's not so complicated after all, but some great lessons maybe we can draw from that. Thank you so much, Dale, for joining us for the episode, and Susan Richards, as always, bringing on your expertise. So thank you both very much. Now, before I let you go, I want to take a quick moment and thank some of our Techopia sponsors, without whom Techopia Live would not be possible. I want to start with TD Bank, offering specialized programs for tech firms. There's Pearlie Robertson, Hill & McDougall, a leader in business and tech law. There's the University of Ottawa, Faculty of Engineering, creating the next generation of technical talent. There's Stratford Managers, offering services to help you scale up your tech venture. KRP Properties, offering so much more than just space. And of course, we had Susan here from Number Crunch, offering virtual CFO services for SaaS firms. Now, Techopia is not just this fantastic show. We are also available online at obj.ca/Techopia with daily articles covering Ottawa's tech scene. You can follow us on social, on Twitter and Facebook at Techopia OTT. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please leave us a like and a comment. We would love to hear from you, and subscribe if you want to see more of our weekly tech interviews. Apart from that, I just want to thank you very much for joining us for this week's episode of Techopia Live. We will see you next week for the next episode, and hope to see you then. Bye.
Awesome.